The thumbnail has already given it away, but at this point, I still don't know what this is. I just got a random package in the mail. I haven't ordered anything, I haven't paid for anything. It has a battery warning sticker on it, I guess. So I'm assuming it's a battery. Fragile, handle with care. No, it doesn't look like. The outside of the box is quite damaged, but on the inside it looks fine. It looks like maybe Customs opened it up and took a look at it. And we have an Orient Power 5.5 kilowatt inverter, Cat 5 cable, the surge protector. We come with a manual and a CD, a USB cable and a comms cable. Couple of cables there. I'm saying they go to the actual surge protector. That's what I would assume. And we've got a couple of MC4 connectors there as well. What's the good of getting a new toy if you can't break the warranty seal and take a look around inside? So we've got a little cover here. It's just covering the ports and stuff so you can get in there and attach everything. And that's just held on with 4 screws, 1 on either side and 2 on the front. Very easy to get off, and you don't need to take that front cover off. The front cover again, held on by 6 screws. And neat little feature, I've never seen this before in an inverter. It's got nice little clip-on vents, nice and easy to change, the 4 at the top there. So this inverter design draws down. Again, like all the other inverters that I've seen in this sort of make model range, they draw the air in from the top and blow it out the bottom. I don't understand why they do that. I thought hot air risers, that would be a better way of doing it. If you know, drop a comment. It'd be good to find out, and maybe we can learn something new. Along the bottom, we've got the input. So we've got the DC negative and the DC positive. Taking a quick look at the manual here, it actually shows us we've got the solar panels input. So we've got the 2 inputs here, and it's based on a 260 watt solar panel. So it's 12 in series, and you can go 12 on each solar panel input, giving you a total of 24 solar panels at 6,240 watts. That would be magic, considering it's high voltage, not low voltage. Huge benefits on my old 120 volt setup. Moving on to the surge protector, I've pulled it all apart because, again, why not? We've got a bit of a coil there. We look like a relay at that end. Not much on that side. We've got a serial number there or a model number there. Can we get focus? My eyes certainly can't. I can probably see it on the screen. Lots of people seem to be interested in what's on these boards and how they operate. Is it another relay there perhaps? Not sure. And on the back, we've got some sort of a serial number. And nothing more identifiable on there. We've got a little on-off switch, so we've got solar comes in through the little on-off switch. Handy little lockout, so if I want to turn it off, I can put a little lock through that. It's got a hole there, and then stop it from turning, or we can turn it on. Feels nice and positive. Underneath there, we've got the 2 RS485 ports. We've got a USB port and an RS323 port there. And then we've got the AC input and AC output on that side there. Right, we've got it all put back together again, got all the covers put back on, and we've done a little bit of hookup. Now, I've put MC4 connectors on and a cable. Unfortunately, I don't have a high enough voltage to actually be able to run this. I've got to reconfigure my entire solar panel system, so I haven't done that. But what I've done is I've brought in my Orient Power 48 volt 100 amp hour battery. It's good for just over 5 kilowatts. So that is almost fully charged. We've just got the negative and positive hooked up there. And we've got the data cable between the 2 into the RS458 ports. Got a USB cable for communications over onto the computer. And then we've got an RS323 port there, so we can actually see what's going on the screen. So to get this going, we've got to turn on the breaker there. We've got to turn the power on to the battery. To turn it on, you press and hold the power button or the on button. And similarly, to turn it off, you do it the same way. So you press and hold for a few seconds until it beeps. And then it starts the boot procedure of the inverter. It takes around about a minute for the light to come on. While we're waiting for the light to come on, we'll have a quick look at the menu structure. So we've got input and output. We've got input and output again in hertz. We've got the battery and the battery output in volts there. And we've got, and there we go, we've got the light on. And we can't see the screen anymore. 53, so that was real time on how long it actually turns it on, so about 50 seconds. 53.4 volts there with 2% load, and that's load in VA. And we have a look at the load in kilowatts. We've got the input voltage from PV1, input voltage from PV2, and we've got input battery, and then the kilowatt hours produced for the day, and then all time, and then some programming information there, so you can actually program it via the keypad, I believe. So we've got AC in, we've got no AC coming in. To commission this inverter, we need to install the solar power CD. It's just a Windows based install. Press install and away it goes. I won't bore you with those details. But let's have a look at the computer screen and show you through some of the settings and how to commission it, and just general information about the actual software and what it does. Once that solar power software is installed, you can double click on the icon on the desktop and it opens up. We can click on the little login icon, and the password, the standard password, is ADMINISTRATOR, administrator, all lowercase. Hit enter. Do it wrong. Try it again. ADMINISTRATOR, enter. Right, we're logged in. So when we first install the software, you've got to commission it. So by commissioning it, you've got to go device control and then my power management. And this is just where you can change a few things, the initial setup. Now I've already commissioned it and gone through this process, so I'll just sort of talk you through what I did. So first of all, I changed it from grid tie with backup, the backup obviously being the grid, but I don't have the grid tied in. You can go grid tie or off grid, so you can go off grid, and then the standard disappears, right? So this standard, I'll go back to grid tie, and then this standard I can go AS4777, and that is the Australian standard, Australian and New Zealand standard for if I was going to install it on the grid. Unfortunately, I don't have a factory password for that. Also, that's a little bit concerning, and this is the only thing that's concerning about it, is AS4777.2. So I don't know if that makes a difference, but so we can't actually install this on grid here in Brisbane, Australia. So let's get rid of that. So we can't change that. We got PV energy priority setting, grid only. Now I've just changed this, so grid with backup. Oh, grid with backup. Okay, so there we go. So grid tie with backup, we've got grid tie with backup 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm not sure what those settings are. Charging source PV and grid, I want PV only. I'm just going to set this up as if I was doing it. Load supply source, PV is available. Load support, grid battery, battery grid. So we want to go battery grid. Allow to feed into the grid, we want to disconnect that because I can't do that anyway, and then you would just click apply. Okay, also up here we've got nominal power. Yeah, you can change the voltage too, down a little bit by the look of it. We're in Australia, so that's what we have to do, 50 and 60 volt up there. I'm not going to play with that, obviously I'll blow stuff up. So we close that out. Now have a better look at the actual configuration. So on the main screen we can see that it's flashing red for the utility, which means we've got no grid power. Solar panels, we haven't got a little arrow or a little animated thing there because we've got no solar power hooked up. And we just got the load and then the battery over on this side with basic information, and most people that's all we need. We've got the grid voltage, we've got grid frequency, PV1 and PV2, so you can actually see the voltage coming in from that, and the load. And we've got the load level over here, which is 2%, which is basically the running load of the inverter itself. Battery voltage, battery capacity. Now that capacity, I haven't worked out how to talk to the inverter yet to pull the information from the BMS. I'm not sure if that's even possible. And then we've got charge current with a little graph down the bottom. Click on parameter settings up there, and again this is all configurable to your own situation. I will just show you a quick look through it. You can pause the video if you want to see anything. You can scroll down the bottom, there's a little bit more information down there. System. And taking a look at the log files, we have a look here. We've got the device, so if you've got multiple devices you can actually have them listed here, and we can have a look at the data sheets and charts. And this is for power generation. Obviously there'll be nothing in that one because I haven't generated any. Look at the next one. We've got just data. We've got data sheets and charts. So if we look at the charts, we've got grid voltage, input power, PV1, PV2, load power, load level, and we can just see a little blip down there. Battery voltage, battery capacity, charging current, and temperature. Didn't realize it had temperature. I I like that actually. And then data sheets, browse, and that just has a whole heap of extra information there. Grid voltage, PV now, grid frequency, PV1, PV2, load power, load level. So you can actually map it over time. You can see if there's a problem, or you can have a look at the voltages of your battery if it's gone too low. What we've got on this one, we've got event log. So we hit browse again, just pulls it up. Communication restore, PV input found lost, grid voltage falls below lowest threshold, so on and so forth. And then the last one there, we've got fault data log. Unfortunately, mine's not working. I'll get a computer to go and look at that sometime soon. One metric I'm always keen to find out about these types of inverters is what's the idle load on the device. So we have a quick look up on the computer screen. We can see here that we are doing, saying 1% load on the screen here for the solar power software. And if we pop into the software for the actual battery itself, the battery is showing us we're using 1.32 of an amp. Now it doesn't give us watts, but if we times 1.32 times 53.158, we get a total of just over 70 watts. At first I was a little bit disappointed to see the idle draw of this inverter being quite so high, but then my test, or my metric for that, is if I turn the light on above it, it goes to just over 2 amps. It goes to 2.12 amps. So that light above my head is drawing about 40 watts and it's only producing light. So this inverter is doing a heck of a lot for that 70 watts. However, it does account to almost 1.7 kilowatt hours per day just to remain idle. Unfortunately, I have no way to test it when it's on with a high load and then get the efficiency. I don't own the equipment to do that, but just know that. I've been playing with this. This has been on my bench now at this part of the video for about 2 weeks. I've been trying to learn the software, trying to work out how things work and how well they work, and if they do what they say they are going to do. I've been running a heater, trying to put a load on it, seeing how loud it is. Could you hear those fans? They're not terrible. There's no load on it either other than that light. This is a sponsored product, right? So take that with a grain of salt, but I love it. I love my old inverters, and I hope that this can replace my inverters, or at least something like this, very, very soon in the future. But things have evolved a little bit where I might have to put this somewhere else in a much cooler location where there's no grid involved, and I can get it installed and really test it over the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that.